Bob Crook is calling it a career. After nearly 40 years as an educator and Braintree boys varsity basketball and golf coach, Crook is saying goodbye. And with him retiring, the likable coach is leaving behind a family and community legacy of selflessness that may never be matched.
He's just a genuinely good human being.
The biggest key to him, anyone who played us, no matter what our record was, didn't want to play us.
And for nearly 4 decades, that was always true about Braintree boys basketball under head coach Bob Crook.
You know, I think our values were pretty simple, smart, and tough. And I think we won a lot of games with that as the basis. And I think that's the type of kid, that's still the type of kid that you're going to get in Braintree.
And those were the type of kids Coach Crook had in his 36th and final season this past year. The Womps finished 17-3, highlighted by a last-minute steal by Callum McClory to beat Andover in the Division I round of 16. This season was extra special because it was led by 12 seniors, including the coach's son, Cam.
I hear a lot of good things. I mean, everyone loves him, or it's either that or they just don't want to tell the coach's kid that they don't like him.
Cam's a terrific kid, and I'm going to get emotional maybe a little bit. I've been coaching Cam and that group of seniors since they were in 3rd grade because I've had them in travel all the way up.
You know, I knew we were going to be good, and you didn't have to teach. You just had to coach.
Jeff Timberlake and Bob Crook have been coaching together in Braintree for nearly 2 decades, and it's been a great match.
Him and I, we speak the same language. We're old school.
We fit perfectly because we both agree with the same philosophy on how to deal with young guys. We try to teach them how to be young men, being a good husband, being a good father.
Bobby learned how to be a good father and coach from his dad, Dave Crook, who coached Braintree boys basketball in the 1970s.
I think the thing I took from him the most is how he treated every kid the same.
And the way Dave Crook treated people was by putting others before himself, which started in his own house when he gave up coaching.
My father gave it up after 7 years to take care of my mother, who was handicapped. He actually gave up coaching, I think, well before he probably should have, to take care of her.
7 years later, Dave Crook was involved in a fatal car accident in front of his own home, and he died in Bobby's arms. And very quickly, a family legacy was passed on.
Basketball that night became, Braintree basketball sort of became my family at that point.
He actually talks about when his dad died and things like that to the kids. The kids actually see him as a human.
For all his time in Braintree, Bob Crook has also been an educator, mostly in the school's alternative program where he and Mike Tassoni counsel kids who are at risk of graduating.
They crave structure.
Everyone at some level wants to be held accountable for what they do.
I think it's saved so many kids over the years.
Soon, Bob Crook will be celebrated, not so much for his longevity, but more for his consistency.
I think too often some people are celebrated just because they happen to do it for a long time. But in Bobby's case, he's been really good for a long time.
In classic Crook fashion, Bob would rather see the recognition he's getting now go to others.
I think there's a lot of people in education, I know in our school, that probably don't get do the same thing that I do, that don't get that attention, that probably have the same effect on kids.
So, how do you want to be remembered, Coach?
You know, I did my job, I guess, the best that I could. And I think there's lots of people that do their job best that they could, and, you know, they should be celebrated just as much.
Always about others. Bob Crook will be missed. No word on who's going to replace him as boys basketball coach, but his assistant, Jeff Timberlake, says he's not applying for the job because those shoes are too big to fill. Congrats, Coach Crook. Good luck in retirement. We'll see you around town.